Are you ready to get real? Welcome to real estate, the world's loneliest career, where you're always out of balance, unfulfilled, the role models are fake, the numbers unattainable, and you're just supposed to be and do it all. Join self-made millionaire real estate agents, wives, moms, and business owners as we level up, learn from special guests, and elevate and disrupt an entire industry through real education our way.
Good morning.
It is Tuesday. At some point yesterday, I kind of thought I was not going to make it through to today. Oh my God. We are just in the craziest real estate market of all time. I'm not usually a big venter. Like, that's kind of not my thing.
I am.
It's going to be Event Fest today. I just feel like there's no way around it. And yeah, it's just absolutely, it's crazy. And I feel like it's getting crazier.
Yeah.
By the minute. I don't know. Angela, you want to share?
Like, what is going on? Like,
I don't know. So I will share, I guess, what I've been dealing with the last 72 hours.
Let's do it.
So I have, a couple of new listings. I have several listings that are on the market right now. Two of them have been, I don't even have words. I think I'm 2008 and the Great Recession, finger quotes, was like not even like this, like not even at all. Like that was nowhere near as painful as this was for me. And we talk about on the show all the time, like a shifting market is way more painful than a shifted market, because back then everyone knew the world had fallen apart. It just was what it was. And, people were acting accordingly and acting right. And now I feel like because it's shifting and we're in the middle of it going all over the place, it's so messy. It's so painful. It hurts and it just sucks. And
I feel like too, like only some people know what's going on and most people don't. And that's the problem.
Yeah, that I think is a massive problem. And, okay, so listen, like both Angela and I have made an entire career out of training, mentoring, coaching real estate agents for like almost 2 decades. So it's absolutely not anything against newer agents whatsoever at all. I think that if there's any frustration that is there, it's more the training out there for those agents over the last several years that didn't exist. And so now we find ourselves in this craziness. And I'm going to be the first to say, like, this sucks. It's painful. It hurts. I'm not enjoying it. It's insanely emotional from the clients, from the, buyers, from the sellers, especially from the other real estate agents. Like, it's brutal. But so for the last 72 hours, here's kind of what's been going on for me. So I have, a bunch of listings. I'm collecting listings right now. I have a bunch of listings on the market. 2 of them have been on the market since December. I begged my clients on both of those to wait until January to go on the market in January. Neither one of them wanted to wait. They went on the market, before the holiday season, beginning of December. Those 2 are sitting. We keep reducing price. Nothing's happening. It's like poking a dead bear. And now within the last 72 hours, both of them have started to just say, I'm just going to pull it off the market and I'll rent it and I'll wait until the market stabilizes again, which
just wait like 3 more weeks.
Yeah, and it may not. The market may not. I mean, the Fed has just said that they're going to increase rates again, and as much as we tell people that the abnormality out of historically, statistical real estate was the last 2 to 5 years, and that this is a fairly normal market, people, a lot of times they're just not hearing it, right? And so, my one client actually said to me, well, if I have to sit on it as a rental for the next 10 to 20 years until the market does what it does again, then that would be fine with me. And I'm like, it's just too much. We you guys missed the boat, you know? I mean, it is what it is. We were telling people this isn't normal. This isn't going to last. The people that took advantage of the crazy heyday of the market did really well. And the people that didn't, unfortunately, have seen their property values come down a little bit. We are not talking about a drastic decrease in property values, though. And that's kind of what's driving me absolutely crazy. And whatever it is that they're going out to buy has also balanced too, right? So it's relative. A lot of people, I think that's my first theme, seem to just be really stuck at the value from 2021. Are you seeing that too?
100%. I have a client that just bought 4 months ago, and they didn't buy with me. They bought with another agent, and they didn't like the area, and they want me to put it back on the market and resell it, and they want to break even at least. We're going to have problems. It's a challenge, big challenge. So we'll see what the market does. But
yeah, so I think that's the first thing is, number one, people that are not understanding the way that the market has changed.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that, it's not on the news anymore every day, right? Like, it's not getting out there to the public. The only thing the public is seeing is the same narrative about the rates. That's all they're seeing.
Agreed. And, you know, the Fed, I mean, here's also what's really interesting. All those agents and all those lenders that were kind of going with the rate, marry the house thing. There were so many people saying that Q3, Q4 was going to see us back into maybe like the 4% when it comes to interest rates. Well, now the Fed has very clearly in the last couple of weeks come out and said, we raised the rates faster than we've ever done in history. And even with a historical rise in interest rates, the market didn't completely implode. So now we know that the market can handle it. So now we're going to raise them more. So I don't think that we are going to see rates come down. I think we're going to see rates in the 8s potentially by the end of the year. So I think that this is here to stay. And I think it's here to stay because this is a normal real estate market.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But there's a lot of people who don't see that. And then I think you combine higher interest rates, higher housing prices with everything that's going on in the world between, you know, the spy balloons and Ukraine and all this other crazy stuff that we're seeing in the news every single day. And I think that people are very afraid, you know, and I think that they're for sure. I'm seeing buyers come back for 4, 5, 6 repeat showings before they write an offer on a property.
Yep.
Like they're really taking their time.
Yeah, buyer's remorse is a big thing right now in our market. And I don't know if it's necessarily remorse, but they're getting opinions from everyone and their brother. And it's got to be overwhelming to try and make a decision like this when you have all of these people in your ear.
Agreed, 100%. And then the other thing that I'm struggling with is on the flip side, buyers who think, okay, so I'm in Denver, Angela's in Colorado Springs. We're about an hour apart from each other. We're both in metro cities, but totally different markets. Her market's really military heavy. Mine is not. Mine's really tech heavy. So the other thing is I think from what I'm like watching, I think we're maybe down somewhere around 10%. And, you know, I don't even want to say down because I don't really believe that we're down. I believe that we're just recalibrating and rebalancing. But I think from beginning of the year 2022 to, you know, the heyday of things, like maybe property values have gone down about 10%. We have a whole crap load of buyers that think that they're down apparently 40, 50, 60%. And we have a whole bunch of agents who do not know how to help their buyers. So, you know, I mean, I was not personally all that surprised in Q4 of last year seeing buyers lowball the ever living shit out of properties because literally mortgage loan applications went down almost 100%. Like the market did this hard stop that we've never seen before in history. And it was terrifying. So if I was a buyer during August to December of 2022, I would have lowballed the shit out of properties too. You know, we were talking on the show about seeing agents reducing prices by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
The first week on market, And so that feeds that narrative that they can lowball the shit out of people. I'm surprised that we're seeing it now because the market has rebounded. It's not come all the way back up that 10%, but it has rebounded from the end of the year last year. So this weekend, I got 2 offers on listings. One is priced at 1.25 and they came in and offered $865,000. That's literally like $600,000 off the price of a house. And the other one, they came in and offered about $300,000 off the price of the house, which is absolutely insane. And I think what really frustrated me the most about both of those situations was not even that the buyer had the balls to ask for it, because good for the buyer, whatever. It was more like that the agents had no idea how to tell their buyers that that wasn't going to happen. So on the first one that offered almost $600,000 off the price of the house, she kept saying to me, well, the buyer's looking at the price per square foot. The buyer's looking at the price per square foot, which in Colorado is not a calculation that we use to comp properties whatsoever at all. Like, I feel like that's totally the $1 million listing effect.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense. Like in Colorado, if you say that to another agent, they're going to go, you don't know what you're doing, because we don't talk about price per square foot. So she kept saying that, but then I kept saying to her, okay, but I'm pulling up the average sold price per square foot in the MLS, and you are asking for $500 off a square foot. You're not making any sense. So you're saying, well, the price per square foot is too high. And I'm saying our price per square foot is exactly within $1 or $2 of everything that has sold in the last 180 days, which, by the way, included the holidays and the worst market in history.
Right.
And she couldn't get it. She couldn't get it. She didn't understand. She kept saying that, but the price per square foot in 2 towns over is lower.
Well, no shit.
Of course it is, and then she just kept saying, flat out, I don't know what to do. I have a very strong buyer. He's a licensed real estate agent in Texas. He's got a really strong personality. And both of these women, it's their first transaction. I'm not knocking your first transaction. I had a first transaction too. I'm angry that no one provided training on any of this over the last couple of years. Like, are you seeing this stuff too?
I think down here, well, what I'm seeing, like I have a listing up in Aurora by Lindsay, that it's an agent that's been licensed for 498 years, and they fucking told me about it 85 times, which is great. But they haven't sold a house in the last 7 months. So they don't know what our market has done. They just know that the market sucks to them, right? And they don't realize that it's on the upswing. And when I told them that not only do we have a backup offer, but we had 46 showings on that house day one on the market, they basically called me a liar. And last night, when their contract terminated for inspection issues that we said we would fix, but they wanted a credit of $10,000 off instead of fixes, I was like, we're not going to resolve. We're going to go to the backup offer. He's like, well, you have to disclose all this. I'm like, yes, I'm aware of that. We're okay with that. Their backup offer is the same as yours, and they're not asking for dumb shit. But I don't think that agents really understand that the market is changing yet again. Like, you have to be in the market and be actively selling and listening to things, watching traffic patterns, going to open houses. You have to be in this market to know what's going on. And agents that maybe haven't sold a home in 7 months or haven't been educated in 4 or 5 months, this is a different ball game here. We are getting multiple offers again on different price points. And Colorado Springs in general, we are selling pretty quickly on market within 7 days, typically if the house is priced appropriately. And I will say our staging business is never been busier. So we are staging houses. They're going under contract very quickly, and they're going for top dollar again. So that's our market down here. Other markets might be different. But the excuse of we're going to try and get it for 50 grand under asking price, that's not going to fly here. Doesn't really matter what price point it is. It's just not going to happen. So prices have definitely leveled out, and people are getting houses for at asking or maybe a little bit above. But we're not having people ask for $30,000 concessions again. Like, that's not happening. You missed that window, folks.
You're not selling houses for 600 for literally 40% of list price.
Mm.
Oh my God. And again, I think that what you just said is super important. If you're out every day and working in this market, you will have a better pulse of what is happening. The problem is the pulse is absolutely insane, right? Some houses are selling really quickly over asking. Some houses are sitting forever. Some houses are, it's so difficult. It doesn't even seem to be price point dependent right now. I have no idea why. For the first time in my whole career, some of them are doing things and some are not. But if you,
I'm going to tell you, like, from what I'm seeing, it's not necessarily just price point. It's how does that house look inside? What upgrades does it have? Does it look the same as every other tract home in the neighborhood, or has it been updated? So, I mean, on all of my listings, we're going in and doing a minimum of like $4,000 to $5,000 of updates just to make it different than everybody else's. And those are the houses that are selling first.
Yep, absolutely. No, I mean, it's in what's the old adage, for hundreds of years in real estate, if it's priced well and it shows well, it will sell, right? Like, that's just period, end of story. If you can't get out there and if you're not actively working in this market every day, then you need to be studying your market, right? Like, I'm very confused about how real estate education just completely disappeared. Education offered by the brokerages, education that is, taken on by the agents just because they want to know more. So again, nothing against this woman. Actually, she was lovely. We were having a great conversation last night. But she did not know how to pull price per square foot. She didn't know how to use the MLS, right? And she's never done a transaction before, but she's been licensed for a year, right? And so having a real estate practice at the highest level has nothing really, in my opinion, on how long you've been doing it. Like, it is great if you are educated and you've been through lots of things. There's the flip side, like your guy, where he's been in it so long, he's a dinosaur and he's hurting things the other way around. But, just knowing your craft and being educated, it doesn't even really have to do with how many deals you're doing or if you've ever done a deal. It has to do with what you know. And in order to know things, you have to get in the MLS and look. You've got to, like you said, go to open houses. You have to watch what things are actually selling for compared to where they listed. You have to learn about, all these different things. And apparently it's like, I haven't sold anything because the market has been weird. So I've just been watching Netflix. I haven't been doing anything to learn about how to practice real estate when I actually have a transaction.
Yeah. I have an unpopular opinion on why this is. I'm
going
to try to be careful here.
Shoot.
I think that the end of the year is typically a time when people like to transfer their licenses to the new fun thing or the cheaper thing. Last year, it was usually the cheaper thing. And when something is cheaper, it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. And so now I think that we're seeing that all the people that move their licenses to either the cheaper or the fun brokerage are having a lot of challenges because there's not as many people there that are willing to teach them and train them properly about our craft and understanding the market. And I think that that's a big differentiator right now. When people thought that the best thing for them was to save money and go to the cheapest cap or whatever it was, or the cheapest monthly fee, when in reality, what happened was they ended up just hanging their license someplace, and now they're working out of a coffee shop because they have no one to help them because they took the cheapest way possible. Like, we're asking our clients not to be cheap with us, but as agents, we are cheap with ourselves and our education. And I don't really understand where that comes from, but I assume that it's just desperation that's causing it. I mean, like, our broker just started another contracts class. Like, we do like a several week long, Josh teaches it, contracts class where we go through every single bit of the contract. And we just started that for this Thursday. So like we do that kind of stuff all the time. Other brokerages, you're just hanging your license there and that's it. And it's not just smaller brokerages, it's mostly the larger brokerages where you kind of get lost in the shuffle. So I would look at that kind of thing. It might have saved you money up front, but in the long run, it's going to cost you so much in education.
Preach. And I also think it's the type of education, and I've had a bone to pick with this, like literally since I started in real estate. It feels to me that the reason between like the tactically how to conduct real estate on a very like tactical, actionable basis is very different than like the training that they give you. Because when you enter a brokerage, the training that they give you is how to sell, right? It's how to get on the phone, what scripts to call, right? Like I cannot tell you how many thousands of real estate agents all across the United States I've been seeing, you know, trained for decades now on how to call a FSBO, how to call a expired, how to scripts. They're getting up every single day and showing up at their office at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and they're drilling scripts for 2 hours, 3 hours. But then ask that agent if they even know how to go into the MLS and pull comps. Nope. Ask that agent if they know how to handle an inspection. Nope. Right. So every bit of training almost in this business is really based on procuring clients and not what to do with them afterwards. And it's really inappropriate in my opinion. And it's wrecking fucking havoc.
Yeah, it's bad
on the real estate market.
A couple of issues with buyer clients that were either under contract or about to be under contract with an agent. And they looked on Zillow for a house that had an open house on it, or that it was advertised as an open house. They go to said open house, and it's really an agent that showed up because they scheduled that they were coming to the open house, and then that agent will swoop in and try to take them as a client. So we have a lot of desperation happening. That's what happens when the market goes down. And so that's when you start to see that unethical type of shit start creeping in. And we're definitely seeing that for sure. And we're also seeing a lot of like, it seems like, I don't know if bullying is the right word, but like agents that are trying to flex on other agents, like you forget that this is a co-op. Like we're not all idiots, right? Like don't talk to us all like we're idiots. Don't talk down to people. Like sometimes you have to educate the other person, and that's okay. Because they're probably not getting it at their brokerage, and that's okay if you want to help them if they're asking for help. But this agent in Aurora like talked to me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, dude, why are you still working at your age? Honestly, like stop. He was being so nasty and mean, talking about how like he's surprised that we have internet down here, like we're a third world country or something. I'm like, we're Colorado Springs, buddy. Like, come on. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was right when we went under contract. He's like, do you guys have access to the internet down there? Do you have any kind of contract software? Of course we do. Yeah, everyone has that. No, send it over on a carrier pigeon, buddy. We'll get it. But yeah, like I think that that's like a big issue right now for sure is the way that we're treating each other. And I don't know if it's coming out of desperation for money or what it is, but it seems like that's definitely an issue right now.
I would say 1,000,000%. And I would say the deals that I've done in the last 6 months have literally been done on relationship and reputation, period. Yeah. Like I've been putting together the deals in the hardest market I've ever worked in based on my relationship with the agent on the other side and how well we're able to work together. And that's literally it. So if you're fighting with people and you've got that mean girl culture right now, which is very alive and well, you're not going to get deals done. If you built a crappy reputation for yourself over the last couple of years for not answering the phone, being nasty to people because you were on a power trip, you might have to make some apologies in order to be able to even get deals done right now, because it's not working.
Or if you've set an unrealistic expectation with your buyer that once you get under contract, you're such a good negotiator that you can get 10, 20, 30 grand off at your inspection because that's a great time for you to renegotiate the contract, and you turns out you're wrong, that might be a you problem and not a me problem. So that's a conversation you have to have with your client.
Yeah. I think that the other thing that I'm seeing that is making it really difficult for agents to manage their own emotional expectations right now is the news and the things that they're seeing from other people across the country. So you need to remember that real estate is hyper local. My market is different than Angela's market, and we can be 30 minutes away from each other from town to town, and it can be completely different, right? So if you're sitting in these Facebook groups all day long watching other agents talk about how their market is back to multiple offers and it's absolutely crazy, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing anything wrong. It could mean that. But again, you need to focus on your own market, right? But I think I'm seeing a lot of people get really upset and depressed and sad with themselves about the fact that in other places there are a bunch of buyers out there again, and they're having a hard time finding buyers, or their listings are selling instantaneously, and here or somewhere else those listings aren't selling instantaneously. So you have to really look at your own market specifically to not set yourself up for emotional failure right now. And the other thing is, you need to know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this and your brokerage doesn't provide you any actual tactical training, call us. We'll help you figure out how to get it. Call your MLS, call your board, right? But you need to be looking at things comparatively, even in your own small market, because the other thing that I'm seeing is agents pricing houses 20% under market, and they are selling instantly. And then they're out and about bragging about how their listing sold in 12 hours. Well, if I could underprice every single listing that I take by 20 to 30%, I could sell them all in 12 hours too.
Right.
Can someone please, for the love of God, explain to me how out of hundreds and hundreds of years of selling real estate, the expectation became if you don't sell a house in 12 hours, you're a shitty agent? To the point where you are willing to underprice your client's property by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on purpose just to make that happen. We've been talking about this for a long time now. Lawsuits are going to start happening. Lawsuits are already happening all over the entire United States from what we just went through, which is agents, rushing people into things, pushing people into things, not telling them to do proper inspections, appraisals, whatever that is, taking properties as is, all that stuff. Now you are going to start see lawsuits in the next couple of years of agents underpricing properties on purpose just to get them to sell quickly, because they either want to look really good or they literally do not understand that it isn't normal for a house to sell in 3 days.
Yeah. If you're selling the house 20% more than market and it's selling in 12 hours, I'm impressed. Tag me in that shit. Like, don't tag me in the crap that's like, I sold it for $8.99 in like 4 minutes. Like, I don't care about that. I care if you sold it for $10.
It's not real. Yeah, if you look at appraisal standards, right? So what an appraiser is actually required to do for their licensure, and I could pull this up and drop it in the notes. There was a lot of talk about this the last couple of years. There is a section in their appraisal handbook that says that if they see listings that are underpriced purposely in order to make them sell faster or to make them create multiple offers, that the appraiser is required to turn that agent into NAR and into their local governing board, because they feel very specifically the appraiser's job is to do two things. One, protect the buyer, and two, if they see a seller that needs protection, to call that out as well. So, I think you have to be really careful with this right now. If the average days on market in the neighborhood is 45 days, even though you don't like that it's going to take 45 days to sell a property, if your property sells in 2 days, what does that say?
Underpriced, probably.
So you got to watch that, because I do think that you are going to start seeing sellers come out of the woodwork all across the country in the next couple of years who are going to go, wait a minute, I was told by my agent that I needed to price at $400,000 and my neighbor sold at $550,000. And yeah, they sat there for 45 days, but they sold at $550,000. And I was only on the market for 2 days, but I sold at $400,000. Historically, unless the client has an absolute reason for needing to be under contract and out of the property in a certain amount of time, and those reasons are usually, I'm under contract on another house, I have to move for a job, I'm foreclosing.
Right.
very strong reasons, selling fast was never the benchmark of a good real estate agent. Never, literally never, until the last couple years when everybody started posting on social media, like, I sold in 12 hours.
Right.
That doesn't make you the best. That isn't the end all be all. And by the way, when you were selling in 12 hours last year and the year before, everyone was. So congratulations.
Right.
But I think that people are going to get in trouble for it. I really do.
No, I agree. I do want to add too that, a lot of agents are comparing themselves to other agents right now. And I would take a hard look internally about how hard you're working also. Because there's a big difference between habits between agents right now. There's a massive, massive difference. Like my habits are going to be totally different from another agent's. They just are. And so you have to look at that too. It's not just the market. It's not like all of a sudden your phone's not ringing because, it's on like silent. It's not ringing for a reason. Like you have to constantly be, almost reinventing yourself or being in front of people in order for them to remember that you're a realtor. For some reason, clients get amnesia really quickly. And if you're not constantly putting yourself in front of them, I mean, it sucks when they list with somebody else, but you only have one person to blame typically, and that's you. But you have to own that shit and either fix it or don't. But you have to be really honest with yourself about how hard you're working right now. That's my 2 cents.
I think the job is 2 parts. And we either seem to lose one part or the other part. And it's sad to me. But yes, you do have to learn how to be a salesperson. Your job in real estate is to sell yourself to your clients. That's what Angela is talking about. Especially right now, you do have to figure out a way to stand out, stay relevant, stay in front of people. And that is real. And the brokerages and the agents that are training people on how to find clients, of course, that's really important, right? But the other part of the business is, what do you do once you have a client, right? And that has gone completely by the wayside the last couple of years. And we keep saying this, when business is kind of funky like this, you have a lot of time. It would be really good to turn off the Netflix and turn on your MLS, talk to your board, go to some open houses, talk to other agents. You have to have both. You do have to learn how to find and procure clients, and you also have to learn how to practice actual real estate once you have a client. And I feel like I'm seeing either one or the other.
Yeah. So since you brought up boards, we'll bring up this next hot topic here in Colorado Springs. So because we've had so many people leave our board of realtors, so there are a couple different kinds of real estate professionals. There are real estate agents, there are real estate brokers, there are realtors. Realtors have to be a part of a realtor association, which basically means they adhere to a code of ethics, and they pay a bunch of money every year. So to be a part of our realtor association, I think it's like almost $700 a year. And we saw a lot of people drop off. And so what we've noticed lately is now they're trying to make up that money by fining us to death for dumb shit. Like dumb shit.
Your board is like literally.
It is. And so what is happening because of all of those fines is it's causing people to find a different solution. So now a lot of us are looking at joining a different real estate association in a different market, and then having this as an ancillary one. So we don't have to deal with that crap anymore. So you're going to start seeing some different things happening. And I would talk to your brokerage about who their primary MLS is, because that's going to be a question that changes here pretty rapidly. The answer is going to change fast because we're having a lot of issues with, I don't know if it's just the smaller MLS systems, but ours is smaller, but it's not small. We've got about 5,000 agents down here. Well, we did in December. But I think that that's going to be a big shift too, is who your primary MLS is. And so you're going to have to learn a new MLS system if your brokerage decides that they want to align with a different one. So just ask those questions. It's not just about who's got the best split or what your downline looks like or any crap like that. Like, look at that kind of thing too. Like, that's an important question to ask. And it's probably one that you wouldn't have even known that was going on. But this is all happening behind the scenes, and our brokers are talking with each other about what's going on. And that's definitely something that's brewing, we'll just say.
I mean, I think with a market that's like as hyper local as this is right now, because it's literally like house to house to house, you know what I mean? Yeah, you are so right. Like, you have to be in a place where you're being supported correctly. And if you're with a giant big national brokerage, you at least need to make sure that you've got like the correct support, boots on the ground where you live, because Angela's 1,000,000% correct. That's actually kind of happening up here too. So where I'm at, there's like 4 different MLSs that you can belong to. And I'm not in like, you know, East Coast tri-state. Like, I literally like, you know, we have like, it's one giant metro area. There's 4 different MLSs. Well, you know, they're costing $1 billion, and then belonging to all the boards and the places are $1 billion. And we're seeing a lot of agents just like drop out of one or the other of 3 of them, because I'm assuming of financial reasons, they're cutting expenses, and then their listings, they're not even showing up. Like, they put a house on the market, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't go to anybody, agents or the public, right? So if you don't have people at your brokerage or support locally, you're 1,000% correct. You could miss a lot. That's going to cause a lot of problems.
Oh yeah. We have listings here that sit for like 6-8 months because they're not even in our MLS. Like, us agents that are here locally with buyers locally can't see these houses because they're in an MLS that we're not a part of. So,
and they can't even get access to the lockbox.
A big deal for sellers. Like, you know, what MLS is my house going to be in? Is it going to be marketed to agents that are in that area or not? So, got a lot of questions to start asking right now this time of year. So,
education. I mean, on all fronts, right? Because when the market has been a bull market like it was the last couple of years, it's really easy to just get through things without, I mean, shit, dude, people didn't have to do inspections. Why do you need to learn about what an inspection even is?
Right.
If everyone was doing an appraisal waiver, no one knows about what appraisals, how they work. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like a condition of the way that the market was, but that is not the way that it is. And please hear us, that is likely not the way that it's going to go back to, or the way it's going to continue to be. So you have got to spend some of your downtime right now educating yourself. And I know I always bring this guy up, and I'm probably really annoying, but Harry Cherry, go back and listen to his message. Yep. Harry is a young guy, like really young, like in his early 20s. He looks like a baby, who was able to break in to the highest dollar luxury market in his town, where every single other agent that was his competition has been doing this 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And Harry was brand new, and he was able to break into that market and become one of the top luxury agents there just because of how much time he spent studying the market. He knew everything about everything. He was the guy with the top knowledge, and so everyone called him.
And guess what? He just moved to a brand new market that's arguably one of the most difficult markets in the country to break into, and he's there and already has like $15 million listings.
He's going to kill it because he's the best. I'm not sure that, to me, the best was never who can make the most cold calls.
No.
And I do understand that that is a part of procuring your business, but that's different than being the best practicing real estate agent. That's what people need to focus on right now. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off my roof head first, because I can't deal with another 72 hours like I just had. I can't deal. So, wow. We'll see you next week, in which things will probably be dramatically different again. Because that's the way that real estate works right now. So yeah, next Tuesday, 10 a.m. And we love you guys. We thank you so much for being here with us today. Sorry that we were kind of venty, but
you got to get it out. Also, I gave up coffee for Lent, so now I'm on Coke Zero, not like cocaine, but it's not nearly as good. So I'm a little pissy as well. So.
We got to do better. We got to do better, kids. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right.
Bye.
Angela and Lindsay would love to receive your real estate referrals in Colorado. Connect with the HOMEgirls on social media at The Real HOMEgirls Podcast.